A combination of Superfly and Cheap Trick are enough to beat Goku. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. We all know Goku is Goku-versal. But seriously, this had me thinking, if you could pair any two stands and stand users together, who would be the most powerful? I have 3 pairs that I made today, so be sure to stay tuned for the last one because I think that is the strongest combination possible, and let's get into this. We also aren't counting any non-canon stands, so the World Over Heaven, sorry, that's not going to be here. In 3rd place, we have Jotaro and Dio. Now listen, I know that they would never ever work together in a million years, but this is obviously all just hypothetical. If they did and they had enough training together, they could probably just keep stopping time together, kind of bouncing off of each other. Kind of like how Abdul was bouncing off of Joseph on the fence. Because obviously the whole main issue in part 3, when they were fighting, comes down to stamina essentially. That and seriously pissing off Jotaro. But if Jotaro had actually been exposed to time stop earlier and had some training with Dio, not only would he be able to stop time longer, he'd also most likely be able to move in stop time even more. At least Dio stop time. And vice versa. Unfortunately, Dio turned Jotaro's grandfather into a pincushion in front of his eyes, so that'll never happen. And also because he's dead. Coming in at 2nd, we have Toru and Pucci. This is where things get interesting because we're starting to talk about stands that are ridiculously broken, or as the power scaling community calls it, hacks. For those of you that have not read part 8, you're missing out. Please read it. Gappy's super underrated. For the 9 of you that have actually read part 8, shout out to you. But Toru is the main villain, and he basically has the control of the flow of calamity, and if you try to pursue him, he can change it to prevent that from happening. I'll be honest with you, I've never even heard of the word calamity until I read part 8. So let me break it down real easy for you. If you try to go after him, a series of events will happen that prevent that from doing so. For example, you try and grab his shoulder, a leaf will fall out of a tree and cut your fingers off. Or you try and chase after him, a random object gets sent flying up and pierces your skull and kills you instantly. Both of these actually happen in the manga, by the way. And then there's Pucci. Of course, made in heaven, we all know, ridiculously fast, acceleration, all that good stuff. Along with acceleration, there's also being able to control the gravity of the earth, the moon, and the entire universe, which pretty much only gets stronger the more time that he accelerates. So the way that I see it is that Toru or Wonder Review would be able to possibly protect Pucci while he gets his chance to accelerate. The only issue is that would Wonder Review be able to protect them as a group? If someone were to target both of them working together, is it only going to protect Toru or is it also going to protect Pucci? Normally, at least to my knowledge, it would only protect Toru. But again, if they're working as a group and someone is targeting both of them, I'd assume that it would work in this case and protect Pucci and give him enough time to accelerate and reset the entire universe again, or just cut you up like some ham. And in 1st place, we have the most overpowered duo, none other than Giorno Giovanna and Gappy, or Johnny Joestar. I'll be honest with you, after countless nights of staying up thinking about who would be a better duo, I literally couldn't decide. So it's more so like a 1A, 1B type of situation here. Think of like Michael Jordan versus LeBron. Sorry, Kobe Bryant fans. Rest in peace. Giorno has to be there no matter what, just because of his return to zero ability. And we all know that he can revert actions back to zero. Not just attacks against him, at least according to the JoJo wiki. It doesn't necessarily have to be a hostile attack. He can revert any action to zero. So if we go based off of this, Giorno could essentially hold you in one place since he can just keep reverting your movement to zero, while Johnny shoots his Tusk Act 4 fingernail bullets and infinitely rotates your balls. That was a wild statement to say. And it's not like he has to worry about missing or anything because, again, you're being held in place. And then there's also Gappy or Josuke from part 8, who has soft and wet go beyond. Which again, if you haven't read part 8, essentially he can send bubbles out of his birthmark, and these bubbles actually aren't bubbles. They're lines that rotate extremely fast and don't actually exist in our world, so they can bypass anything. I really wonder what non-JoJo fans think when they hear these abilities. But anyways, Josuke wasn't really able to aim these bubbles that well. He was able to in part 8 with the help of some friends, but assuming that Giorno were to just hold you in one spot with Return to Zero or Go Experience Requiem, Josuke could just keep firing off these bubbles until one of them lands. Which again, these bubbles don't technically exist in our world, so they don't follow the normal law of physics or anything like that. It can pretty much bypass any barrier that it wants to, and then explode. Sorry, Gojo fans, you're cooked here, buddy. But that's it for this video. Do you agree with this list or not? Do you think I'm missing any duos? Be sure to comment it down below. Let me know who you think is the strongest duo possible in JoJo's. And do you still think Cheap Trick and Superfly are enough to beat Goku? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe as well, or else I will infinitely rotate your balls. What is wrong with me?